Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing here on this Friday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, everyone. My sincere apologies for last night, guys. I don't normally back out of a live stream, even if I'm not feeling 100%. However, I just had such a really, really bad migraine that I was just out of it. There was no way I could do it. Like the last 2 hours, it was really bad. And in hindsight, it was a good thing that I didn't live stream. I hope many of you did go out of your way and attended Graham Hughes's Graham Hughes's Power to the People's first ever live stream. I hope you guys did go out of your way to at least attend that if you did. He did do a live stream at 9 o'clock an hour after an hour what was really scheduled. I don't know if we're definitely going to do one next week, but we'll try to see if we can reschedule for next week. And cross fingers, nothing happens to me between. And usually around this time period as well, is that when it's really cold, there's always a good chance I could catch something. So I'm trying to be as cautious as I possibly can as well, on that as well. So I am feeling a lot better today, just in case anyone's wondering. Headache is gone, and cross fingers it doesn't come back anytime soon. I don't know, in it, and unfortunately because of what happened, it's kind of pushed back my work. So unfortunately I've got more work to do today as a result of it, because I like to have the weekends a bit more free, so which is very frustrating to say the least. But let us get on with today's show, guys. It is Good Morning with Regan Elite. It is the 21st, Friday, the 21st of November 2025 at 11 a.m. UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Regan Elite and on twitch.tv/Regan Elite 1. We will talk about the COVID inquiry, of course. We're going to touch on that the first thing after we do our usual stuff. So for those who are new to the live stream, we normally go about an hour long. We look at today's daily quota. We have a look at the weather for today in the next couple of days, and then we have a look at see what the not so much papers, but what the websites are saying. So we see, like, for example, what's the Guardian actually saying on its website, what's the Associated Press saying, Al Jazeera, a couple of all sorts of stories here, and every now and then we'll find a good news story, but mainly it's unfortunate, not good news stories, unfortunately. So we cover and have a look at all this for about an hour for those who are new to this program. Nobody there on the Twitch chat right now, but for those who are just popping in, I can see popping up here on YouTube. Matty Von Erich, good morning to you. Stephen Banker, good morning. Alex Adams, Lost Missionary, Peter, good to see you there. Charles Campbell, Alex Adams, Bud, and anybody. I think that's everyone that's said hello there. Hope you guys are all doing well. How am I? I'm feeling a lot better today than I did last night, that's for sure. Yeah, I felt really bad last night there. And Viper Scott, good morning to you. I don't know why the chat's like that. I hate it when the chat's like that, where it does the at rather than the names. This is the first time I've done a live stream where that's actually happened for me. It's never happened to me, so today's the first time that's happened, which is very annoying. Because, yeah, unless I know I remember the icons, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a bit annoying for me. But hey ho. So let's have a look at today's daily quota here, guys, for the 21st of November. Here it is, just for reference. You can see it there. That is today's daily quota there, and of course the website littlepennythoughts.com there. If you guys want to get one for yourself here. From Abraham Hicks here with the quote of worrying is using your imagination to create something that you don't want. Worrying is using your imagination to create something that you don't want. That's actually true, because we sometimes worry about things that really don't affect us at all or crosses our minds, and it can really slow down our progress. So that's definitely something that I am definitely faulty of, for sure. Unfortunately, guys, for tomorrow and Sunday's quotas, you cannot see them here because there are no live streams. But I will post them as usual every Saturday and Sunday morning across the social medias and our free Discord community, which you can join as well, just for reference there. Right, let's go straight to the weather and see what is happening in terms of the weather, guys. Let's go to there and have a look. Let's scroll out and just see just how bad it is temperature-wise here. Oh, there we go. This is marked as today, Friday, 6 o'clock here. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit here. We can see some different temperatures there. Yellowknife, -5 there. Reykjavik, 2. London, 3 there. Mexico City, a warm 22. Yep, parts of Brazil still nice and warm. Cape Town, 21. Perth, 21. Sydney, 19 there. Philippines, Millennia, 24. Tokyo, Chile, 8. Much colder in Beijing at 2 there. Saudi Arabia, 22 there. Tehran, 12. Tripoli, 18 there. Just a couple of different temperatures all over the place. But let's go into Europe there and see what we've got here. Zoop, zoop. So we do have some snowstorms in and around Europe here. So we've got Madrid, cold 5. Lisbon, 12. Tunis, 13. Palmelo, 12. Rome, 10. Nice, 7 there. So there's some snowstorms. And the southern coast of France. Tiny little bits at the north of Spain there. Switzerland, Bern, very chilly to -2 degrees there. Zagreb 2, and they've got snowstorms and rain as well there. Taria 16 there. Athens 21. Istanbul 18 there. Bucharest 10. Kiev piss pouring down around Ukraine in 8 degrees there. You can see other parts here, very cold here, a bit more in the Eastern Europe here. Vienna 3, Prague -2, Berlin -1, Warsaw 0 there. Moscow, a chilly 2. Vilnius -1. St. Petersburg -1. Oslo, Norway there, a -3 there. Very chilly there and snow parts there. And if we just go a little bit here, Brussels -1. Paris 2 there. And as we saw, Reykjavik there, a chilly 2. Got some snow, got some rain, but it looks like it's pretty clear at the moment for the afternoon for them there. Looking at the UK, which is where most of us are. London is 3 degrees, Cardiff 3, Dublin 5, Belfast 4, Manchester 2, Edinburgh 4 here. And as I said yesterday into today, there is going to be rain coming in here. If we scroll a bit more further over, like I said, that rain and some snow is going to be dropping in parts of Scotland overnight. There you can see that rainstorm coming in. So you're going to get some high winds possibly picking up there. Thank you for Viper Scott for the £2 super chat to get the goal started for Ollie. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate that there. Good morning, Dave McGuinness. Great show as always. And yes, I will touch on the COVID inquiry when I come to it as well. Moving on into the next day, guys. Actually, let me just set it right now. Set that right now. Overnight there. I did say, yeah, that last night and the night before it was going to be chilly. And when is the temperature going to increase? Not for a while, unfortunately. So again, tonight is going to be another cold night. So you can see the temperatures there. At the moment, they are very, very cold. But they're going to pick up slightly. But then it's going to drop again overnight there. So you can see they're going from Friday night into Saturday morning, tomorrow morning there. We can see that rainstorm is going to be covering over pretty much most main parts of Scotland, north of England, north of Wales there. As we can see temperatures overnight into Saturday morning, early Saturday morning there. You can see the temperatures quite low. But Saturday temperatures, as I said, will pick up here. Saturday afternoon, even though we're going to be getting the rain around where I am here. So there could be some high winds and rains there. You can see temperatures are increasing. So tomorrow the temperatures will come up, which is really nice there. So if we go, we'll pick up there. And even though it goes into Saturday evening where temperatures do sometimes drop a little bit, it won't be too bad there. If you can see going up into Saturday overnight there is a drop in temperatures, but not as bad as what we've been experiencing right now, which is a good sign. So going from Saturday overnight into Sunday morning, you can see temperatures. Yep, they're still cold. They're still going to be bad, but it's not as bad as it has been. So it looks like it's going to be some rainstorms going to be coming overnight on Sunday night, overnight Saturday night into Sunday morning there. So it looks like we're going to be getting lots of rain and lots of snow. Snow obviously up in the north of Scotland there. Lots of rain around other parts there. Ireland is going to be experiencing some. Most parts of England are going to be experiencing rains there. Drips and drips of it around Wales there. Belfast 6 degrees, Dublin 6 degrees Sunday morning. Cardiff 8, London 6, Manchester 6, Edinburgh 4. If I push it a bit more further over onto Sunday lunchtime, we can see temperatures do pick up a little bit. London will be okay, 10 degrees. Cardiff 9, Manchester 7, Dublin 8, Belfast 8, Edinburgh a chilly 6 there. Pushing it a bit more into Sunday evening. There's a big snowstorm over, you can see there, over in Europe that's coming over there, but that's not coming anywhere near us, I'm afraid. Sorry for those who want to build snowmen. Temperatures are still not too bad again going there, but they are still going to be chilly. Going overnight on Sunday night into Monday morning, that rain is going to be still around in parts, but again, temperatures not going to be as bad as they are now, but they are still going to be chilly nonetheless. London 7, Edinburgh 5, Belfast, Dublin 6, Manchester 6, Cardiff 7 respectfully there. Going overnight into Monday morning. Monday morning is still going to be quite chilly on the Monday morning, but you can see their temperatures increasing a little bit there. Not big increases, but again, it's going to be a bit better than what we've been experiencing today, yesterday. So it will go up a little bit, but it's not that much there. But it looks like here. So Monday night. Looks like Monday night there, the temperatures are going to drop again, looks like. And is it going to come back up again? Tuesday looks like it's going to come back up. Yeah, so we're going to have another dip. Yeah, okay. So it looks like, yeah, Wednesday night, we're going to have a big dip in temperatures as well. So it looks like, yeah, Monday night and Tuesday night, we're going to have, looks like we're going to have dips in temperatures there. Yeah, from the looks of it. So we'll have a look on Monday to see what those temperatures are like there. So that's what we're going to be experiencing in terms of weather there. So pretty much, so final report on the weekend weather, guys. You're going to get rain. Parts of Scotland are going to get snow. You will get some high winds. But there will be a slight increase in temperature. So it won't be as cold as it has been now, as it been last night and the night before. So you will get a slight increase in temperature. But it's not a big increase, but it's better than what we are experiencing right now is what we have in terms of weather there, guys. Right. And everyone's saying good morning to each other. Yep. Gove wants to build a snowman. Michael Gove can go fuck himself as far as I'm concerned. That guy said don't listen to the experts. And how did that turn out, guys? Too little, too late. Damning report condemns the UK's COVID response. Report on handling the pandemic contains stringent criticisms of the toxic and chaotic culture inside Boris Johnson's number 10. The UK response to COVID was too little, too late. A damning official report of the handling of the pandemic concluded, saying the introduction of a lockdown even a week earlier than happened could have saved more than 20,000 lives. Documents also has a stinging criticism of the toxic and chaotic culture inside Boris Johnson's Downing Street, which he said the then Prime Minister actively embraced. It was an environment where the loudest voices held sway and women were sidelined, the report said. The idea that a lockdown should not have happened in the circumstances was false, the author said. Not having one would have caused loss of life on a scale that was inconceivable and unacceptable. Details in more than 750 pages across 2 volumes, the findings of the second part of the COVID inquiry hearing on how government handled the pandemic paints a consistent picture of delay, inaction, and apparent inability to learn lessons. The account of the start of the pandemic in as early 2020 is particularly brutal, describing February as a lost month. Question why Johnson did not chair a single meeting of the Cobra Emergency Committee, noting that the response to the COVID essentially halted during the half-term holiday week. If a lockdown had been imposed on the 16th of March, a week earlier than took place, modelling suggests it could have cut the number of deaths in England in the first wave of the virus. It's by almost half, equivalent to 23,000 lives saved, the inquiry's authors has said. The COVID-19 Bereaved Families for Justice UK group said the report showed that Johnson had repeatedly delayed, ignored advice, and put his political reputation ahead of public safety. While it's vindicting to see Boris Johnson blamed in black and white for the catastrophic mishandling of the pandemic, it is devastating to think of the lives that could have been saved under a different Prime Minister. Perhaps the most trenchant criticism is directed at Johnson and his team, notably his then advisor Dominic Cummings, who described as essential to a culture of fear inside number 10. The report also targets 3 devolved governments and other essentials to the process, such as scientific advisors. The inquiry finds the response of the 4 governments repeatedly amounted to a case too little too late, it reads. The failure to appreciate the threat of the scale or the urgency of response it demanded meant that by the time the possibility of a mandatory lockdown was first considered, it was already too late for a lockdown to become unavoidable. I'm not going to comment on how the COVID pandemic was handled by the Welsh, the Scottish and Northern Irish administrations. My position and my criticism is directed at Westminster. Okay, I want to make that clear. So other findings include strong criticism of Chris Werman, who was the head civil servant at the head health department and is now Keir Starmer's cabinet secretary. The report said he failed to correct the over-enthusiastic impression of the department's work given by Matt Hancock and the then health secretary, and had failed to properly look into widespread doubts about Hancock's effectiveness. That while lockdowns were needed, they left lasting scars on society, particularly for children. If ministers had acted swiftly with other measures to curb the spread of the virus, a complete lockdown might have been avoided or at least been shorter. Communication with more devolved nations was poor, and the leaders of all the UK countries made errors. The first volume of the report gives chronologically of the crisis from the start of 2020 to the final lifting of restrictions, pointing to a consistent picture of inaction despite ever-mounting evidence about the new virus that was spread around the globe and could be transmitted between people. Events such as the early COVID crisis in Italy should have prompted urgent action across the four nations, the report said, adding that instead governments did not take the pandemic seriously enough until it was too late. February 2020 was a lost month. While there is nothing to mandate that COBRA was always chaired by a PM, it was surprising that Johnson did not do this before March, the author said, with some understatement. Mr. Johnson should have appreciated sooner that it was an emergency that required prime ministerial leadership to inject urgency into the response, including the inquiry chaired by the retired judge and crossbench peer Heather Harlett. This was explained in part by the Prime Minister acting in accordance with his own optimistic disposition and accepting assurances that everything necessary was being done. And during the February half-term, Johnson spent the whole week at the government's Chevrolet County retreat, the report said, adding, it does not appear that he was briefed to all or any significant extent on the COVID-19, and he received no daily updates. By the second week of March, the report said the situation was little short of calamitous, with no proper plan, no testing taking place, and thus no understanding of how far the virus has spread. But lockdown was still delayed, in part because of warnings from the medical and scientific advisors for England, Chris Whitty and Patrick Vallance, about the likelihoods of behavioural fatigue, meaning people would comply only for a period. This concept, the report said, had no grounding in behavioural science and proved damaging, given the imperative to act more decisively and sooner. Even after a lockdown was imposed on the 23rd of March, the report said mistakes were repeated, including what it calls an unwise exit from restrictions that summer, were pushed in part by Rishi Sunak, the then Chancellor. And when a second wave swept the UK, a new lockdown was again delayed, with all four governments saying restrictions could ease over Christmas, giving people false hope, as the report puts it. Liberal Democrats call on Kemi Badenoch to apologise on behalf of the Conservatives for the abject failure over the COVID. Ed Davey, the Lib Dem leader, said the British people will rightly never forgive the Conservatives for leaving this country rudderless and vulnerable, and for partying while our communities were isolated and grieving. In a written parliamentary statement, Started noted the failures were also the context of the UK not being properly prepared. He wrote, since then, improvements have been made to the way the government would respond to a major crisis. Damien Gaines, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. The only thing that needed lockdown were the external borders. I mean, one of the points you made very clearly in thank you so much for the £5 super chat, David. I mean, one of the big points you made. I'm going to come out of this temporarily, guys. One of the big points that you made in your live stream was not shutting our own borders. There were so many times where it was like, what the hell was this government doing? And I will never forget when it hit Italy. And I was seeing what was happening there. And I was looking at it and I was thinking, like, we thought when it was over in China, when it was hitting China, right? I was thinking, wow, that's really, really bad. When it hit Italy, that's when the nerves and the reality of it started to kick in. Because that's when, oh shit, this is actually coming here. It's actually coming here. I mean, you can argue when it already arrived. You could argue it may have arrived before 2020. You know, we can make hypotheticals about when we knew exactly when COVID actually landed in the UK. But when we were seeing what was happening in Italy, the alarm bells should have been ringing. And this government was prioritizing for them throughout this period, yeah? The thing that I generally believe this government were looking at, how can we make cash out of this? Not how can we save lives, how can we make cash out of all this situation? Because of this situation, because of the emergency situation, it gave them emergency powers. And then the COVID contracts came in. right at a time when people were literally dying. The one person, like, don't get me wrong, like, the one person that I'm more angry with anyone is Matt Hancock. That fucker knew exactly what he was doing. He has always claimed that he had to free up the beds in the NHS. And he sent patients to care homes knowing they had COVID. And there were not the test adequates available for the care homes for them. They were never tested in the NHS to say, yep, these people are totally fine, we can send them there. No. Matt Hancock panicked and said, no, send them there. We need to clear up the beds. I will never forgive that piece of shit for what he did. Because he sent them there knowing it was going to kill people. And he was thinking, and he will argue that I had to make a calculated decision here. You don't know what you were doing. He killed people by his decision. He killed more people by his decision. Yes, the NHS was going to get overwhelmed. I accept that. I accept the NHS was going to get overwhelmed because of the fucking austerity that the Conservative Party imposed on it. We knew that was going to happen. Okay? We knew it was going to happen. We knew it was going to get overwhelmed. But my God, your direct action as a health secretary led to more people dying. Directly led to people dying. So many people lost their loved ones. As that direct action by Matt Hancock. And that fucker still walks the streets. That fucker still gets his pay from his time as health secretary. He should be in jail for the murder of those people. Because it is literal murder. He killed those people. All those people who died in care homes. He is directly responsible for them. He should face criminal action. He should face prison for that decision. Because he knew people would die if he made that decision. He was told that people would die if he made that decision. And he still made that decision. We had the worst Prime Minister during the COVID inquiry and during that pandemic. We had the worst health secretary during that pandemic. We had the worst political party during that pandemic. And they had the worst political advisor in Dominic Cummings during the pandemic. For all, and I really want to make this clear, okay? Regardless of how you feel about Labour or Jeremy Corbyn at the time, so many more lives would have been saved. So many more lives would have been saved, and there would have been far greater cooperation between all the devolved nations if Jeremy Corbyn was Prime Minister. They generally would. So many more lives. Because regardless of what you think of him, he would have cooperated with all four nations. For Nicola Sturgeon, it was an absolute fucking nightmare for her to engage with Boris Johnson's government. She will say it herself. I'm sure you guys up in Scotland will say that. It was a fucking nightmare. Because everyone was kind of doing their own thing. And the worst, and on top of all of this, and this is why I cannot understand why people would still vote Conservative after everything that happened. The one thing for me, more than anything, was they had parties. They had fucking parties. While we were all isolating. While we couldn't see our loved ones. My partner was denied her 30th birthday. A week before we had plans, for her 30th birthday. She was denied that. And these lot still went and had parties. And celebrities, because of their wealth, went and had parties and literally paid off the fine and fucked off. But no, my partner, she couldn't have a party. All she could do on her 30th birthday was sit at home with me and do some Zoom calls and whatnot. Couldn't even go out for a meal. regardless of another point I want to make, I will come to that super chat, Addiston, is and the image that sticks out a lot is seeing the Queen. I know how people feel about the royals, but you know, the Queen sitting there alone. And that same night, there were parties as well. That same night, they had parties. And I really cannot understand how anyone with any conscience can still vote for the Conservatives after that. You know? It's one thing when the Liberal Democrats break manifesto promises, right? Okay? That is one thing when political parties break promises or make lies. But it's another when a political party who were governing knew what they were doing, knew that they were making money off the back of us, knew that they were partying, breaking the rules while we were suffering. They pretended to care about the NHS, pretended to clap, pretended they cared about it. They didn't. I cannot understand why this message is not relayed further, more and more about the Conservative Party. I cannot. Alistair, thank you for the £5 super chat. Italian NHS was screaming at the UK NHS over the internet. Interactive warning, folks. They put a bill so all MPs can be charged. Yeah, the bill where they couldn't be charged. Yeah, it's absolute calamity. They will never get justice. They will never get justice. 20,000 lives that did not need to lie. Did not need to die. They really didn't want to deal with this. You know, Boris Johnson didn't want to deal with this. This party didn't want to deal with this. They didn't want to be a fucking man and actually take this on properly. You know. And yeah, did the scientists get everything right? No. But I tell you what, if they had just listened to them a lot more lives could have been saved. And then you had Michael Gove back in 2016 saying we should stop listening to the experts. And you had the whole bollocks around Dominic Cummings and he's bloody going to Barnard Castle. Like, what is this? What is this? You know? Absolute fucking joke. Absolute bloody joke. I'm sure we'll talk more about it in the future, the COVID inquiry. But I have very little hope of any kind of justice. Lives were lost, and there's going to be no accountability for it. And that's the coldest thing about it all. The coldest thing. Switching gears, Rachel Reeves not sure what the popular path is on the budget. Got this Wednesday to unveil your budget. Not looking forward to it. Just for a reference for those who are for those who are regulars, and I appreciate those who are regulars here. For Wednesday, I will be covering Prime Minister's questions and the budget. The budget normally goes on after the Prime Minister's questions, so I do expect the budget to be on straight after it next week. As for the Good Morning Show, I'm moving it till 8 o'clock in the morning on that day on Wednesday, not 11 a.m. I'm not going to do a Good Morning Show, Prime Minister's questions, and the budget all in one go. That would just be too much for me, guys. So it will be 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, but the rest of the Good Morning Shows will be at the usual time. I will remind you guys closer to the time just for reference there. How could Reeves hit gambling firms? Are they fearmongering over the impact? UK government borrows more than expected in setback before budget. Lib Dems to force a vote on creating new customs union with the EU. Labour are not going to approve of that, and the Conservatives want to keep us separated. Conservatives and Reform want to keep us separated. Starmer calls Farage spineless over failure to tackle racism in the Reform Party. That is true. Cryptocurrency backed by Farage donor is used for Russian war effort, investigators say. I don't think anyone's surprised by this. Tekla tokens are found to facilitate schemes that enables sanctions evasions and launders money for the Kremlin. I do recommend checking out Political X's video. Although Farage is not in the Epstein files, he is not directly linked to Epstein, but there are connections between Farage and those connected to Epstein as well. Labour MPs urge Rees to drop the finance plans for NHS building. This I've done a short video on this, but this is very scary. I don't like this at all. This is their way of them. This is just going to put the NHS in more debt. This is just going to put us in more debt. And PFIs have been proven not to work in the past, and yet we're still looking at doing it here. It's absolutely barming mad. It's absolutely barming mad to do that. Yeah, just put our National Healthcare Service in piles of debt. What could possibly go wrong, guys? Increased AI uses leads law firm to cut finances, HR and IT roles in London by 10%. ASOS turns to AI stylists to win back shoppers after sales slide. UK retail sales drop unexpectedly as shoppers await Black Friday and the budget. Yep, that makes logical sense. People are looking for the cheap and possible ways to save money for Christmas, and I don't blame them. Households in Great Britain face surprise rise in energy bills from January. You know, for all, again, Labour talk. What are Labour doing? What are you doing, Labour? What are you doing? All your talk about drop. You keep banging on about, oh, we've increased their wages. We've increased workers' wages. Here's our energy bills going up. How many times have I said it? Your increase in wages doesn't mean anything if the rest of your bills are going up. It doesn't mean anything. I want to touch on this big story from the US as well. Some people may have not have heard of this. So Donald Trump said on Truth Social that Democrats' message to military is seditious behavior punishable by death. So in other words, basically, Donald Trump is calling for the death of Democratic elected senators and Democrats to be murdered, essentially, because he disagrees with them. Now, the context is that the Democrats put out a video. I believe it was on Tuesday. And I watched the video, and I want to make it very clear what the context of the video is. The Democrats basically imploring the U.S. military and those that serve the Constitution to not follow any illegal orders. The quote unquote, the term was illegal orders, is what they said. And Donald Trump's response to this is basically they should be punished by death for saying such a thing. So what the President of the United States is basically saying is that those who call on the US military and those who serve the United States, who are telling those not to follow illegal orders, should be punishable by death. Which is the most insane thing. Like, you keep thinking that Donald Trump isn't going to sink lower, and he just keeps finding ways to sink lower. You know, we had that where he called a reporter quiet piggy on the plane. He's absolutely losing it. He's absolutely losing it. And I generally, I hope that this language is not passed on to the Republicans, but to call for the deaths of Democrats is absolutely vile. So President Donald Trump on Thursday accused half a dozen Democratic lawmakers of sedation, punishable by death, after lawmakers, all veterans of the armed service and intelligence community, called on U.S. military members to uphold the Constitution and defy illegal orders. That's the very point I need to make. The 90-second video was first posted on early Tuesday from senators. I'm not going to say all their names. He spoke directly to U.S. service members who Sokkin acknowledges they're under enormous stress and pressure right now. Quote, "The American people need you to stand up to our laws and our Constitution," they wrote on an X post, along with Michigan Senator and other lawmakers appearing in the video, seen as a possible future aspirations for higher office, who now, thanks to their video-wide exposure, have elevated their own political profiles. Trump on Thursday reposted messages from others about the video, amplifying it with his own words. It marked another flashpoint in the political rhetoric that at times has been dramatic in his administration. As well as among some in his MAGA base, some Democrats accuse him of acting like a king and trying to distract from the soon-to-be released Epstein files about the disgraced financier and sexual abuser Jeffrey Epstein. With let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. We also had a future king bringing himself a staff to Barmal, knowing he had COVID, says Charles Campbell there. Angry typos, yep. Don't stress out about it. Well, unfortunately, I've got more to need to deal with today because I wasn't well yesterday. If they'd implemented PFI like they've done on road buildings, it'd work better, but still not ideal. But at least the country would own the buildings 20 years later. It's the debt I don't like. The debt I don't like. Yeah, we need the buildings, I agree, but it's the debt I don't like more than anything. The thing I don't like more than anything is the debt. So with pieces of dialogue spliced together from different numbers of lawmakers introduce themselves and their backgrounds, they go on to say that Trump's administration is pitting our uniformed military against American citizens. They call for service members to refuse illegal orders and stand up for our laws. The lawmakers conclude the video by encouraging service members don't give up the ship. A war of 1812 era phase attributed to the US Navy captain dying command to his crew. Although the lawmakers didn't mention specific circumstances in the video, its release comes as Trump administration continues to attempt a deployment of National Guard troops into US cities for various roles, although some have been pulled back and others held up in court. Troops, essentially uniformed commanders, have specific obligations to reject an order that's unlawful if they make that determination. However, while commanders have military lawyers on their staff to consult with in helping make such a determination, rank-and-file troops who are tasked with carrying out these orders are rarely in similar positions. Broad legal precedents holds just follow orders, coincidentally known as the Nuremberg Defense, as it was used unsuccessfully by senior Nazi officials to justify their actions under Adolf Hitler, doesn't absolve troops. However, the US military legal code, known as Uniform Code of Military Justice, or the UCMJ, will punish troops for failing to follow an order should it turn out to be lawful. Troops can be criminally charged with Article 9 of the UCMJ, willfully disobeying a superior commission officer, and Article 92, failure to obey an order. So yeah, basically, it feels like the military are being put under pressure here. And Donald Trump's comments really is not helping the situation in any way, shape, or form. Coast Guard reverses course on policy to call swastikas and nonce politically diversive. Democrats' alleged spy agency is being undermined and politicized under Trump. Justice Department insists Comey indictment was properly approved as it tries to keep the case afloat. It's not going to work. The case is going to collapse on him. They don't have enough on him. Mexico bullied pageant contestant gets payback by capturing Miss Crown University. Archaeologists lift the lid on a 1,700-year-old Roman sarcophagus hidden beneath Budapest there. The Ukrainian president is under growing pressure. Here are 5 things he needs to know. So apparently, there have been secret talks between Russia and Ukraine, mediated by the US behind closed doors, apparently. And we've only just learnt on this the last day or two. And the actual story is basically Ukraine to basically accept giving up sovereign land, and I think Zelensky should just tell him, I really mean this. If I'm Zelensky, I would tell America to go fuck itself about giving Sudetan land. And it's just like, no, they took our land, they took our territory, and you want us to accept it? No. And you want us to take a cash offer or something from the Russians for it? Like, no. This is our lands, they are our homes, they are our community, that's our sovereign nation. And you want us to give it up. Because once you give up some, what tells you they're going to come back for more? And there are no guarantees in any of this there are no guarantees in. I don't know the details of what they're saying behind closed doors, but there's no guarantees that Putin and Russia aren't going to attack again, because there isn't. Like, I think the Ukrainian president should stand his ground on this. And I know, look, I understand that Ukrainian citizens are tired. They are fed up of this war. They're exhausted. The soldiers are exhausted. The morale it's hard for the morale of these troops. It's very hard for them. It's been going on for a while. It can be very demoralizing for Ukraine. I'm sure it is. It's very brutal for them for years in these conflicts. You know, and for a lot of Ukrainian citizens who are living abroad because of this war and can't go back home. I really like. I don't fully understand, but try to put myself in the shoes of Ukrainians, and I can see how they feel about wanting this war to end. And just wanting the gunfire to stop for Ukrainian citizens to keep dying on a daily basis, and they do die on a daily basis from attacks from Russia. I can understand all that, but if they bow to pressure now, he will just come back again later. You cannot trust this man. You cannot give this man the chance to breathe. Russia is crumbling. It is crumbling. Yeah, they're gaining territory, but they're crumbling at home. I constantly hear about their economy suffering. Consistently hearing about their birth rate has dropped off a cliff over the last several years as well. Their birth rate, they're not making a lot of babies. They're not doing well at all. They really aren't. And that's not just the sanctions. They're not doing well at all, Russia. They really want this war to end. But Putin does not want to look weak in any way, shape, or form. Zelensky must hold his nerve. He must hold his nerve, because if he bows to this pressure, he's gonna go. He's gonna be gone. He must not bow to the pressure. So the president of Ukraine is facing a confluence of crisis, testing his ability to lead an increasingly wary nation nearly 4 years into the devastating full-scale invasion by Russia. For more than a week, Volodymyr Zelensky has struggled to contain the fallout from a $100 million corruption scandal implementing top officials and their associates. The pressure on Zelensky has racked up as the United States pushes a proposal to drew up with Russia that will require major concessions from Ukraine and seemingly few from Russia to bring an end to the war. And this is it. It just can't do that. All this is playing out if Russia makes slow but steady advances across part of the 1,000-kilometer front line and relentless bombs Ukraine's power plants, causing severe electrical shortages, and cold weather sets in. Facing a rebellion from within. I don't think it's just corruption. I think, again, I think there are some political people who are getting tired and they are frustrated, and some of them are taking advantage of all of the money that is coming into the Ukrainian economy with the war economy, with the intention of trying to hold off, and some of that is getting siphoned off, obviously, which is a big problem. Corruption is a major problem in Ukraine. I'm not sure how Zelensky is going to get on top of it. The problem is that there is some. I wouldn't be surprised if there are Russian spies within this Ukrainian government in some way, shape, or form reporting back there. Zelensky holding on power is not immediately at risk. That's good. If he loses power, I think Ukraine will fall. Former generals seen as rivals but denied political aspirations, possibly. The design to end the war as well. Pressure on the front and across the country, which they are losing territory on as well, which is very problematic to them. Europe needs to go hardline with the UK and separate from NATO. I'm not sure. I'm in two minds about it right now. Trump and Mandami meet Friday in the Oval Office. They cast each other as adversaries for months. Are they going to meet? Is it this Friday or next Friday? So the first ever meeting is scheduled for Friday. Is it this Friday or next Friday? Are they actually meeting this Friday, or are they doing it next week Friday? It doesn't say what date. For Friday. That'd be weird. That would be so weird to see a picture of Mandami and Donald Trump standing next to each other. God, that would be really weird. I've covered that in a short video. Israel plans to seize historical site in the West Bank as a new settlement appears. Yeah, that's really, really bad. The communities of slave descendants in Brazil demand reconciliation of territories there. Sensitive border patrol programs to detain US citizens for suspicious travel. Has been monitoring millions of American drivers nationwide as a secretive program to identify and detain people whose travel patterns it deems suspicious. This is state. This is state control. This is basically this. This is tied in tight. You can tie this not just about border patrol, but also those who are looking for abortions as well. Very scary indeed. Man, I'm really hungry all of a sudden. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't eat enough this morning. I got quite a lot of lunch, to be fair. Once I finished. One Angry Pagan, thank you so much for the 18 months there. Frigs, lugs, and blessings. Frig, lugs, and blessings to you too, Pagan. Guys, check out his YouTube channel if you get a chance to as well. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Sky News, what are they going on here? Starmer expects to approve a new controversial Chinese super embassy. Sky News understands. No, you... They don't need it. Everything we need to know about China's new super embassy. Oh, fuck's sake. Your party fears disruption by the ultra-left groups at inaugural conference. Yep, the conference is next weekend, guys. Not this weekend. Their next weekend is supposed to be their conference. It's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good for them. Hint at energy bill announcement. £1 billion money laundering network in 28 towns and cities that bought a bank. Strictly Come Dancing star arrested on suspicion of rape. Wow. Wow, that's really bad for the program. That's really, really bad for the program. Government borrowing hires people not spending. Dyson in the dock over busted £350 fan. Will it's fob off there. That's really bad for the program. That's really, really bad. In particular, it's a BBC one as well. Israel keeps bombing Gaza, kills 2 in the occupied East Jerusalem. This is a live feed for Al Jazeera currently. 2 Palestinian teenagers have been shot dead by Israeli forces in the Kifir Arab neighborhood in the occupied East Jerusalem, according to Wafa news agency. A displaced person has been killed by Israeli forces outside the so-called Yellow Line, south of Khan Yunis city, according to Nasser Hospital, speaking to Al Jazeera. So, this is some of the things they're helping. They've shot dead 2 Palestinians. Netanyahu reiterates his position to Palestinian statehood, stating there will be no Palestinian state. It's as simple as that. Israel's military claimed to have killed firefighters who exited in a tunnel in Rafka in an area controlled by its forces. And the Israeli settlers continue waiver attacks in the occupied West Bank, torching Palestinian properties in several villages as well. Morning Post impersonator. Israeli forces fired 2 shots, departing a mosque in a village near Rafka in the occupied West Bank. Almost 2 children killed each day in Gaza since the ceasefire. UNICEF has said at least 67 Palestinian children have been killed in Gaza since the ceasefire began between Israel and Hamas on October the 10th, according to the UN's Children Agency. Dozens more have been injured. The average amount is almost 2 children killed every day since the ceasefire took effect. Aftermath of settler attack in the West Bank town. Just burning everything in their path. They burnt all this. Settlers torch more Palestinian properties in the West Bank. No one doing anything about it, guys. Again. At least 5 killed as a magnitude 5.5 earthquake hits Bangladesh. I've got a short video of that coming out over the weekend. My thoughts and prayers for everyone in Bangladesh right now. I really mean that. Olive farmers face dangerous neglect over Israel's war in southern Lebanon. Students taken from Catholic school in central Nigeria in the latest abductions. Is that another one? They just had... Earlier this week, they had some schoolgirls kidnapped from a school in Nigeria, and now this. This is terrible. What is the government doing to protect these people? Attack comes just days after armed men stormed a secondary school in northwest Nigeria, kidnapping 25 schoolgirls. Yeah. Students have been abducted from a Catholic school in central Nigeria by armed gangs, according to authorities, in a second such incident in less than a week. Niger state government have received with deep standards of disturbing news of kidnapping of pupils. Yeah. Stay on Friday. The exact number of abducted pupils that confirmed. School kidnapping attack on church earlier this week comes after the US president threatened military action over what he described as targeting of killing of Nigerian Christians. Narrative rejected by Nigerian government, which says Muslims are the majority victims of attacks by armed groups. Trump's assertion echoed claims that have gained traction among right-wing and Christian evangelical circles in recent months. Trump has caused this. Trump has caused galvanized these groups. His language is not helping the country right now. Abducting 25 schoolgirls. Yep, this was on Monday. And they're still missing. And they've just had another abduction. Student taken from a Catholic school. Trump should shut the fuck up about Nigeria. He's not helping them. Thank you for the £2 super chat, Alliston Keir, for the DPR. Hail. Yep. For our good friends in the Democratic Penguins Republic. Apologies for the language, guys. Explosion at glue factory in eastern Pakistan kills at least 16 people. Oh my god. White House unaware that US ambassador to Israel met with convicted spy. Okay, sure. Country sharpens split on fossil fuels on COP20 summit's final day. It's a joke. It's a joke. Countries remain bitterly divided over the future. Every time. Delegates to a country fail to reach a deal. Every time. It doesn't work anymore. The COP summits don't work anymore. And you also know that that everyone who goes to this, every single country has to agree unanimously. It's not like someone can agree. It's not like one or two countries can agree on principles and things, and then they can try and work on it. No, everyone that goes has to agree, and it's impossible. It's impossible. It's just been taken over by fossil fuel industries now. Doesn't work anymore, the system. Been disrupted the last 24 hours. Water pipe burst. No water, says person. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. The water is back now, but very splashy. It will settle. I'm so sorry to hear that, my friend. I hope it gets fully sorted soon. No water. I can't. That's just absolutely terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. UK expected it. Yep, approved plans for mega embassy. We saw that. Gove apologises after COVID report alleges toxic culture. Michael Gove grows a spine and apologises, guys. Did he actually say sorry? Hold on. Let me see if he actually says sorry. Where is he actually said sorry? Mistakes made during the coronavirus pandemic. Lord Gove told the BBC Today programme that some attitudes in downstream have been far from ideal. You're not fucking sorry. Summer arrives in South Africa as G20 gathers without Trump. What a surprise. Voters react to MP surprise offer to Bolton. Yeah, I've said this on Wednesday night, and I'm saying it here. He should not have said what he said. He said he was willing to step down to allow Andy Burton to return to Parliament. I don't agree with this. Trump yet to speak to Starmer over BBC row. Why not? Why have they not discussed it? Trans people could be barred from services based on appearance. Yeah, we're not going into that. We've already, blood is already boiling over other stuff. We're not going to touch on that. Households face unexpected rise in energy prices. Sweaty Betty offered 4K for slogan use and silence, apparently. Families claim damages over carbon monoxide leak at primary school in Glasgow and West Scotland there. Don't know enough about the story, so I can't comment. Government borrowing for Oxford higher than expected. Any other stories, interesting stories here? No. The reform one we've already covered, in case anyone's wondering why I haven't clicked on it. NBC News. Trump and Zoran Madani set to meet in the Oval Office. Are you actually going to tell me the day? Going to give me the actual day? It says Friday. Is it this Friday or next week Friday? Again, it must be this Friday. It has to be today then. It has to be today because otherwise it would have said next week Friday. It must be today then. Ukraine working with US on new peace plans. Details emerge. Trump's peace plan unsettles Kiev at the moment of maximum weakness. Yep. Drug boats from Venezuela are mainly moving cocaine to Europe, not fentanyl to the US, experts are claiming. How redistricting fight has scrambled dozens of midterm campaigns across the country. Yeah, so the Texans, the Texas state, they were redistricting their numbers to gain more seats in the House, and it's currently been blocked by a court, which is probably going to go to the Senate, and the Senate are going to overturn it, basically claiming of racial discrimination, which it is. Any other stories you haven't seen here? Oh, thank you, Peter, for the £2 super chat. Just because, thank you for helping get today's super chat goal. Much appreciated, my friend. Thank you, and Alistair Keir for that. I really appreciate your support, guys. Any other stories here? Nearly 800 air traffic controllers and techs without perfect attendance during shutdown received 10,000 in K bonus there. 54 women and their families have sued county jails. These are their stories. Caroline Levitt clarifies Trump's punishable by death post. It was absolutely pretty disgusting, her response. I didn't like it at all. DOJ reverse course now, says full grand jury reviews James Comey indictment. Millions pour into Tennessee special election ahead of December vote. In Nevada, economic concerns threaten to wipe away GOP's Latino vote again there as well. There's a couple of other stories there. We're almost out of time here. Let me switch to you. We are switching back and forth between UK and world here. Keir Starmer opens up about his brother's death. It hit me like a bus. Starmer brands Farage spineless. Gove apologises for COVID mistakes but defends Johnson. Of course he would. Wait, isn't it? Aren't you the same Gove that tried to betray Johnson as well? COVID chaos and Johnson. Yeah, we talked about it. Ex-Labour MP condemns Starmer as he defects to the Green Party. I listened to his interview with Politics Joe, explaining his reasons and whatnot. I thought it was very good. He explained how he was ousted by Labour, which is why he defected, pretty much is what it was. So, I don't blame him for defecting. A lifeline of lockdown gatherings. Reforms, UK's only MP in Welsh Parliament suspended over racial slur. I think that's the same story we looked at before. AOC breaks silence on Mandami's meeting at the White House. Mumma to ban migrants without citizenship from claiming benefits. Yeah. Not good. Let's have a look at the front of UK of the Independent. Best and worst cities to be a dog in the UK revealed, apparently. Shall we have a look? What are the best and worst cities for dogs to be in? In a wide-ranging study, Dogs Trust has found that dogs' quality of life varies by region, where Britain's dogs are at their happiest. A survey of 5,000 dog owners, charities Happy Place Index report a seriological criteria matrix to draw its findings. No region scored particularly low. Britain truly is a great place to be a dog. There are some clear favourites among canines. Top of the table was Plymouth. Canine happiness score of 7.26 out of 10, followed by Liverpool, 7.21, and Belfast, 7.20. At the low end was Cambridge, still a respectable score of 6.32. Joining it in the lower leagues was Bristol, and Durham there 6.71. High scoring regions are not necessarily the most vulnerable or truth. Where is Edinburgh 8th? Glasgow there 7.4, 7.2. Apparently Plymouth is the best place to have your for the dog's happiness, apparently, here. Birmingham as well, Newcastle upon Tyne, Norwich there. They're not low numbers, they're all high numbers there, so there's no shame in any of these numbers at all. London 6.82. And the Cambridge the lowest here. No shame in that. So yeah, Plymouth, well done to Plymouth. Happiest place for dogs. Good on them. Is what I will say there. Good on them. Thank you, One Angry Pagan, for the £5 super chat. The fucko publicly endorsed mistrust in experts. Charles, uniform, remember Tango, hate the C units so effing much. Yeah, I already ranted about it at the start of the show, Pagan. Yeah, I did. Thank you for the £5 super chat. Yeah, I've already expressed my anger about it. I ranted about for a good 15 minutes did I about COVID, guys? Pretty sure I did. It was about 15 minutes or so. But thank you for the £5 super chat, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah, very much appreciated. Yeah, and there's a fault. I was going to check with them later. Yeah, okay. Not a plumber myself, just a surprise. Stephen Banker says just jumping in and say goodbye. Well, we're finished here anyway, so thank you, Stephen Banker, for popping in. Much appreciated. And I want to say thank you to everyone who's came here this morning. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you guys for those who gave super chats this morning as well. Thank you, One Angry Pagan, for for being a member for 18 months. Thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate it. Looking forward for the next EcoFlake show, which is only a few weeks away now. It'll be early December when we do one. Just a quick update for me. Plan is, I don't know if I'm going to do a premiere video or not, because I'm always struggling with my voice. So I'll see how I feel. If not, the short videos are already ready for Saturday and Sunday. I will get short videos ready for Monday. And I will get the usual, I'll get some posts set up for you guys, of course, for members as well. But if I can do a premiere video, I will do one for you guys. But like I said, I've got to catch up on work because of me being unwell yesterday. But thank you guys all for coming along. Have a great weekend. Just a reminder that Fillmore House will be going live right about now at lunchtime if you guys are interested. The agenda with Fillmore House and Graham Hughes should be at 1 o'clock as well if you're interested in that. At 5 o'clock will be Friday Frolics with Daily Blase. Do join him for that, for an absolute load of fun. I'm always, most of the time I'm there. I'm just leaving it on listening while I'm doing other stuff, mainly, in case people wonder. It's just not often that I'm not there, that I'm just working in the background. That's why I don't really chat too much in it. And of course, like A. Thompson might be going live a bit later on as well. And then at 8:30, Max Robespierre should be going live. And there's another Politics Social later on in the evening as well. So there's lots of live streams taking place tonight as well, guys. So do check them out. I'll be back live Monday at 11 a.m. So so that'll be the next time when I'll be live, guys. But just before I go, if you can, for me, hit the like button, share this across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Do check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content. Check out the home tab. Do check out our Discord community as well. And thank you all so much for watching. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.